Okay, this is the demo for Repeatable DB creation. I will share my screen in a second. Okay, so I have the first item. I just wanted to kind of make sure everyone was on the same page for the next steps after we decided this week that we're going to migrate these Ansible workloads into the config management project. I wanted to outline a plan for how that will be done. So the first thing I'd like to do is to get all of our roles into a single collection, and I'll show what I have prototyped for that. And I think that should probably happen first. And then after that, we can start adding, create a branch off of config management that does the JSON configuration generation we need for both Ansible and Terraform for the sandbox environment. And I started to prototype that as well, but I won't be able to continue it before I go on leave. And then move the sandbox GCP project into GL Infra config management and let that be sort of the environment we use for testing repeatable DB before we add a database cluster to staging. Ahmad, since you're the only one here, does that sound like a reasonable plan to you? And do you have any questions about it?
Yeah, that sounds fine. Just one question regarding the other three sandboxes. Are we dropping them when we do the move?
I guess so. I mean, they have been handy for working independently of each other. I'm going to destroy mine before I go on leave. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we should keep them?
Well, I guess when we make the move, maybe it's, we're, so to speak, tagging the progress we've made as 1.0, so it's stable enough to be shared by everyone. We don't need to be working concurrently, since even the Epic itself, it doesn't have that many issues to be working on. So yeah, I guess we just need to be disciplined to work together on one single sandbox.
Yeah.
Maybe if you find it to be very confusing, we can reintroduce the independent sandboxes again. But yeah, for now, I guess we can drop the whole three sandboxes and focus on one environment.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe we just destroy the infrastructure in the project, but we don't yet delete the projects so that we still have the them bootstrapped in case we want to bring them over, And but yeah, I suspect we'll be fine with just a single sandbox environment. Okay. I'll before I end my day, I'll kind of write these notes into the Epic and create the issues for them. I wanted to also demo what I've done so far for moving things into an Ansible collection. So the reasoning behind this is just so that I think it makes probably more sense for us to have an Ansible collection to hold all of our infra roles and plugins, and this seems to work okay. The directory layout ends up being under Ansible will have the collection subdirectory, and then Ansible collections, GitLab, and infra, and the name of the collection will be gitlab.infra. The changes that happen because of this, though, are you have to reference all the roles with gitlab.infra. So instead of role console, you have gitlab.infra.console. That's a pretty simple change. I mentioned in 1C that you can't use a dash in the role names. That's not a big issue. The big item, I guess, is 1D, which is, we still have these references to get templates that are vendored. I don't know, like this sort of falls, like, I think this becomes a bad idea if we're moving this into a collection. It definitely makes it so that, I mean, things still work. You can still do that, but if anyone tries to consume the collection, which I don't think we're planning on like doing, but if it would break. So I think I'm starting to get tempted here that we should just abandon the idea of using get for Ansible because we're only referencing a few templates. What do you think about that, Ahmad?
Yeah, I would I would agree. And given the recent rebase of what have been recently merged in Get, they seem to break some stuff of ours, so we need to like
Yeah,
play catch with all these updates. So yeah, for Ansible, it seems reasonable to drop it, and maybe if we depend on any of the common role, maybe we can just import it verbatim.
yeah. Like what I did here in the MR is that instead of referencing it with like a relative path, I'm just using like playbook dir special variable and then get roles. But yeah, then we could just bring this like this console template, and I think there's one more that we reference. We can just bring that into the role itself. Cool. Okay. I also moved all the plugins into the collection as well. So those are in the plugin and filter subdirectories under plugins, but the same, you have to reference them with gitlab.infra and then the name. I think that's pretty much it. I did attempt an upgrade to 211, which I ended up, I think I don't need to do now, but so I might pull back on that. We'll see if everything works well. They renamed the package from Ansible to Ansible Core from 210 to 211. I noticed there was one change in the upgrade that I wanted to ask Alejandro, but maybe you know, Ahmad. I had to, let's find it. It's not under roles. It's under like environments. This one. Inventory. Yeah. So, do you recall, like in this Ansible environments cluster.gcp, there's this compose for the Ansible host, and this is something about like connecting to the public IP. But Alejandro did this work, right? This is for using like the Bastion. I had to remove these two lines because the new version of Ansible just doesn't like it.
So we can't use Bastion to access the as a host.
I don't know, like, so I don't know what's going to happen because since we removed the external IP, I think the Ansible host will be just whatever IP, like will be the private IP, which is what we want, right? Like, or I'm not sure. I need to try it in CI. I tried it locally and it seemed like it was okay. But I need to verify it in CI, I guess, before I can say that it's not going to cause a problem. But that's pretty much the only change I needed to make for the new Ansible version. Everything else seemed okay, at least from my local testing. Like I said, I haven't tested it in CI yet. That's it. Ahmad, do you want to share anything with regard to the work you're doing for the VPC stuff?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically done, just pending review. So with your recent comments, now we group all the provision nodes into one subnet, and instead of having a subnet for shard. Yeah. Other than that, just words.
If I had one more question about that. So are you So we have the internal subnet CIDR, which is like the subnet assigned to the environment. Are you using are you creating the subnet within that CIDR, or are you using that CIDR as the subnet? Like, are you using that full subnet for the servers?
Yeah. Prior to your comments, I was making subnets within the big CIDRs, the /16.
Yeah.
But since you're concerned about all the dynamic allocation and and all stuff, so right now the whole subnet is used for the whole environment.
Okay. I think that's probably okay, though. What will happen, I guess, when we deploy a cluster into staging, we'll have to assign like a subnet that's within the full CIDR range of the environment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. I think that's pretty much it. If you have nothing else, we can end the meeting. Thanks.
Cool.
Ciao.
Bye bye.